news coming in this hour. Security scare at Orly Airport in France. This after gunshots rang out earlier today in Paris. Take a look at that dramatic video there. Reports say one man who snatched a soldier's gun was shot and killed. Early reports said the airport had been evacuated. Security scare at Orly Airport in Paris after a bit of a chaotic confusion situation happening outside of the airport there. The security scare is at Orly Airport. Again, what we are being told of this hour is a man snatched a soldier's gun. He was then shot and killed later on by authorities. No word on if the airport right now is back open, if it's reopened. Certainly Europe is on edge. You're taking a look at live visuals coming in from the scene there. A heavy police presence in that area. Of course, you'll remember back in November of 2015, that's when the deadly coordinated terrorist attacks took place in Paris. So France already being on alert. And then last March, almost approaching the one-year anniversary, in fact, with what happened at the airport in Brussels with yet another terror attack where about 32 people were killed. Right now, we only know about shots fired and a security scare. We don't know there are any injuries. We don't know if anyone was killed except for this one man who was shot and dead. He was the one who, police say, snatched a soldier's gun. Again, you're taking a live look at some of the visuals coming in. This is Orly Airport in Paris. Man, police say, was shot and killed after he snatched a security guard's weapon. Got no word on what exactly he planned to do with that, if there was some sort of a altercation after that, but certainly a city on edge, a country on extra caution given the security situation and the tense environment there after what has happened in both Paris and Brussels. Again, a live look at visuals. You can take a look at some of the passengers there looking sort of anxiously waiting to see if they're allowed back in. At this point, we don't know if that airport has been shut down or if passengers have been allowed to get back inside the terminal. Also, no word yet if flights have resumed or flights are canceled given the security situation. What we do know at this hour, though, is a man was shot and dead after he tried to steal a gun. He snatched that from a security guard. No word also if this was a lone wolf attack or if it was part of a larger coordinated plan. But you can see police force there moving in, quite a large presence there at Orly Airport in Paris. Just to bring our viewers up to speed, this is not the biggest airport there. The biggest one, of course, being Charles de Gaulle, the major international airport. This is happening at Orly Airport, a little bit away from Charles de Gaulle. Live visuals there of the scene. Looks like police are still cordoning off that area. No word yet if passengers have been allowed to get back in. Certainly experts are evaluating the situation. We can even see some bomb sniffer dogs there, possibly looking to make sure it is safe before things get back to normal there. Again, live look at visuals coming in. Gunshots fired at Paris Airport, Orly Airport, just to clarify, not Charles de Gaulle, happening just a short while ago. This breaking development coming in. This is a city that's already on edge after what happened back in January of November of 2015 with the coordinated terror attack in Paris. So authorities taking this very seriously, not taking any chances. Again, a quick recap to our viewers just joining you, taking a look at live visuals coming in from Orly Airport. That's about an hour or so, an hour and a half rather, south of Charles de Gaulle, about 45 kilometers or so. It's about an hour south of Charles de Gaulle Airport, which is, of course, the big hub into Paris. There is a security scare. As you can see, looks like a heavy police presence. You're taking a look at some of the live visuals, so we apologize for some of that shaky camera shots there coming in from our affiliate. But a huge gathering of police officers, police presence. It looks like, from at least what we're seeing, police are still storming in and trying to figure out what is going on there. We also saw some bomb sniffer dog. It looks like a good bunch of passengers are also being whisked away in some of those buses in Paris. This is Orly Airport, a security scare. What we are being told at this hour is there was some sort of security situation where a man snatched a security guard's gun, and then he was shot and killed. A security scare at Orly Airport. I'm going to be going now to WION's correspondent Jessica Taneja, joining us from the WION newsroom to bring us the latest. Jessica, good afternoon to you. quite a scary situation there happening in Europe. I understand you've also lived in Europe, so you certainly know what the climate is like, given what's happened with Paris and Brussels. Now this, again, we don't know if this is to that extent how large it is, but from the visuals at least we're seeing police are not taking chances. What do we know this hour?
Right, Arjun, as you mentioned, this is not a very pleasant picture for the morning, and for a lot of those, travelers right there at the airport. And we know so far that the soldier fired at the man who's now been detained by the security forces, and the police did sweep the airport in search of potential accomplices and explosives, as we know so far, trying to conduct the search operations right now. But many of the passengers have in fact written on Twitter that they had heard gunshots in the south terminal that morning, but the security forces were able to tackle the situation there and then. And as we know, they have told the passengers that the police operations are still on and they should not cross the security parameters and they should follow the instructions at this point in time. And the passengers who were held at the airport also are now being told by security forces to be careful. But right now the emergency operations are still on, and we also know that one of the airport officials has also said that the ongoing special operation is being conducted by the police, and again requesting all the passengers and the staff there to follow the instructions and avoid coming to the airport. Archit.
Certainly a scary situation there as passengers anxiously wait. We can see those crowds. They're taking a live look at some of the visuals there. A huge gathering of passengers sort of waiting to find out when they will be allowed back in, if any of those flights are being allowed to take off, if planes are allowed to land at that airport. We also understand that Orly Airport is about 45 kilometers, about an hour south of Charles de Gaulle, which of course is the international airport, the big hub of many flights in and out of Europe coming in. At this point, Jessica, you saw some of the reaction on Twitter. Is there some panic? Are people concerned on Twitter, or are they sort of just anxiously waiting, just as like the rest of we are, trying to understand what happened if this possibly was a lone wolf attack? Again, all we know, what we're being told by authorities is what we're reporting, that a man apparently tried to steal a soldier or a security guard's gun, then authorities shot and killed him. Because of that, there's an evacuation. I mean, we don't really have any more details than that, but what is the social media chatter at this point like, Jessica?
Well, a lot of passengers have taken to Twitter, and Twitterati has started flowing information for the other passengers who might be coming to the Orly airport, just to give them, a heads up on as to what is going on at the airport right now. So a lot of reactions also coming in on Twitter, Archer, rightfully, as you mentioned, to make the other passengers who are coming to the airport, make them aware of what the situation is like at the moment. And as we know, the search operations are underway, but still passengers should not sort of be moving in.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much for all of those updates. Of course, we will continue to track that, and as you get more updates, do keep us posted. Again, a quick recap to our viewers just joining in. Here's what we know at this hour. Just a short while back, police say a man tried to steal or snatch a security guard's gun. That's when authorities fired back, shot and killed that man. A security-scared Orly Airport in Paris, France. That airport, about an hour south of Charles de Gaulle, about 45 kilometers away. Security forces, police, and other authorities have cordoned off that area. You're taking a live look at some of the visuals. Many passengers sort of being pushed outside, waiting and taking to social media to find out what exactly are the next steps. We do not know at this hour if this was a part of a larger ring. We do not know the name or the identity of that alleged suspect who was shot and killed. We also are still trying to figure out if planes are being allowed to take off or land at that airport. But as my colleague just reported, the chatter, at least on social media, many of those passengers taking to Twitter to talk about the situation, warning others that there could possibly be delays at Orly Airport given the security scare in that situation. Quite a tense moment for many of those people trying to get in and out. Again, Orly is not one of the bigger airports there, but certainly people are concerned. We do not know at this point how long the airport could be, how long this operation could continue. And we also saw bomb-sniffing dogs, so we can assume that police are really canvassing that whole area. Certainly we can imagine that this could have some kind of other repercussions for at least some of the domestic flights that come in and out of France, possibly even some of the other European flights that use Orly Airport. Again, from what we are hearing at this point, there were a lot of shots fired. Passengers heard that scare. There was a sort of a security lapse. A man tried to steal a gun from a security guard. That's when authorities shot and killed him. Many of those passengers evacuated outside of the terminal. we are getting we're getting some visuals still coming in. There's still no word on motive, no word on the identity of that alleged shooter, or if this is part of a bigger ring. But certainly we do know that Europe is on edge given the terror and the security scares. All of this coming on the brinks, in fact, of the Brussels attack last March. In fact, almost a year to the date, March 22nd, where 3 Belgian nationals with ISIS links blew up outside of Brussels airport. It was also that bombing at that train station. All of this really puts into perspective the question of security and safety and how much police are doing. I mean, from at least what we can see, it looks like the reaction was quick and no innocent bystanders or passengers were hurt. Again, breaking news that we are bringing to you right now with gunshots erupting at Orly Airport in Paris. And, you know, just to get all of this in context, this is a busy time, a weekend, a Saturday afternoon. You know, there are a few hours behind India. So certainly people are trying to understand the implications of this. I'm actually now joined by WION's London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, joining us over the phone. Mandy, thanks again for joining us. Certainly not the best news to wake up to. Early hours still in the morning for those in Paris, but we're taking a look at some of the visuals. What we do know is just a quick recap, a man shot and killed by authorities after he tried to steal a security guard's gun. What are you hearing or seeing, at least from European media? What's the latest you can tell us?
Well, there's not a lot of information. Of course, the area has been evacuated, but it does have the echo of the incident last month when the Louvre, which is the Paris's famous museum, where a man was carrying knives and lunged at a soldier there, and he was shot and injured. You know, so these incidents seem to be happening quite frequently. France has been on a high state of alert for a year and a half after the Paris shootings, and it seems that these attackers, whoever they are, seem to be focusing on the security forces. This person tried to grab a soldier's gun. The Louvre, they also attack soldiers. You know, so it's interesting. It would be interesting to find out if this is a coordinated effort, if there's any links to the previous attacks, or if these are just lone attackers, or if there's any links to terrorism. It's very, very early in the incident, so it's unclear who this person was and why they decided to attack the soldier.
All right, Mandy, thank you so much for all of those updates. Of course, we will continue to track and bring you updates with regards to this breaking story happening in Paris at Orly Airport, where there was a security scare after gunshots erupted. Police shot and killed a man after he tried to steal a security guard's gun. Passengers still waiting anxiously outside as the police and other authorities scan Orly Airport. All of this happening within the last hour.